Evening, everyone. I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order, and I would ask for a motion to enter closed session for reasons so stated on the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we will move into closed session. Thank you. Good evening, and I'd like to call this meeting of the Orange County Board of Education to order. We are back in open session. And tonight, before we get started, I would like to ask for a moment for a point of privilege to make a statement that I feel is very important that everybody here, the ones that are sitting here tonight, as well as our folks at home and the public at home, I would like to make this statement, and then we will move into our regular meeting. I would like to invoke a point of privilege and speak for just a few moments about something that I know is an urgent concern for many in our community. This board recognizes the concerns and issues raised by changes in law and policies concerning immigration and the impacts and fear this does have on our students and families within the Orange County Schools District. Each child in North Carolina has the right to a free and public education in a safe environment according to our North Carolina Constitution. It is our goal to continue doing just that. At this time, a number of outside agencies are helping families as they prepare, and they are sharing information with us as we prepare for this unknown. Dr. Jones and the board have met with our legal counsel to be apprised of all developments and what we are able to do so our district is prepared to help and support our students, our parents, and our families. All Orange County schools and district leaders have been given protocols should anyone come to a school seeking information about a family, their children, or requesting to speak to students. Other staff are being trained as well, such as our family liaisons who work very closely with some of these impacted families. The safety and well-being of our students are a top priority for this board and the district. Ongoing and continuing discussions around concerns and any changes will be done to make certain of student, family, and staff well-being during these uncertain times. Thank you. Okay. I will now read our public charge. Orange County Board of Education pledges to its citizens to conduct its business in a courteous and productive manner, showing respect for fellow board members, staff, and citizens. The board asks its citizens to conduct themselves with the same courtesy toward both school personnel and each other. A moment of silence will be observed before each meeting. In addition to the moment of silence, the board will recite the Pledge of Allegiance. The board asks that you check your cell phones and other electronic devices to be certain that they're either turned off or on vibrate to avoid interruption of this meeting. All right, at this time, we will now have our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's now observe a moment of silence, please. Okay, thank you. All right, we have recognitions tonight. Black History Month, and I think Dr. Lanier, I see him standing up, will be our person to lead that.
Good evening.
Good
Black
evening.
History Month, celebrated each February, is an opportunity to honor the profound contributions and achievements of Black individuals throughout history. It serves as a reminder of the struggles and triumphs that have shaped the Black experience, not just in the United States, but globally. The month also allows for a reflection on the ongoing fight for equality and justice. The roots of Black History Month trace back to 1926, when historian Dr. Carter G. Woodson and the Association of the Study of Negro Life and History established Negro History Week. Dr. Woodson, often called the father of Black history, chose the second week of February to coincide with the birthdays of two key figures in Black history, President Abraham Lincoln on February 12th and abolitionist Frederick Douglass on February 14th. The goal was to educate the public about Black history and its vital role in shaping American society. In 1976, during the nation's bicentennial, the week was expanded into a full month of recognition. Since then, Black History Month has grown into a globally observed celebration recognized by governments, organizations, and communities worldwide. Black History Month allows us to reflect on the achievements of Black leaders, artists, scientists, activists, and everyday people who have made history through their resilience and innovation. It encourages people to explore the often overlooked stories and legacies of Black individuals globally, nationally, and locally who often serve as role models, such as cultural figures like Langston Hughes, Maya Angelou, and James Baldwin, who revolutionized literature and art, political leaders both nationally and locally, such as Thurgood Marshall, Shirley Chisholm, President Barack Obama, Vice President Kamala Harris, and our very own Andre Richmond, who broke barriers in law, government, and politics, trailblazers in science and technology like George Washington Carver, Mae Jemison, and Dr. Charles Drew, whose discoveries have changed the course of history, icons in music like Janet Jackson, Prince, Public Enemy, and A Tribe Called Quest, and visionaries in education like our instructional and strategic leader, Dr. Danielle Jones, who will celebrate her one-year anniversary in OCS on February 1st. At the same time, it reminds us of the enduring fight for justice and equality. Black History Month emphasizes the importance of continuing the work towards a more equitable society, acknowledging the ongoing struggles against systemic racism and discrimination. As we celebrate Black History Month, we not only recognize the incredible contributions of the past, but also commit ourselves to continue the work of building a future where equality and justice thrive for all people, regardless of race. Let us honor the legacies of those who came before us, learning from their perseverance and strength to inspire the world today and tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lanier. Okay, next we have Love the Bus Month with Mr. Smith, and I see our favorite bus driver, Mr. Albert.
He is not to be missed, and I told him that I was going to call him up here. So, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the board, Dr. Jones, and everyone here tonight. February marks the month-long celebration of Love the Bus. And I could read the words that are here because it is a time to show gratitude towards the dedicated professionals who ensure the safety of students on their journey to and from school. But I think that you all know as well as I do that over the next 30 days or so, there are going to be biscuits, there are going to be T-shirts and hoodies, blankets, a lot of handshakes, a lot of waves out the window. And we just really hope, I think, that for everyone who sees the bus go by, obviously we want everyone to slow down, brake for our buses, honor the incredible work that these drivers, technicians, managers, and all the bus safety captains do in our schools to keep everyone safe to and from school, and some of the amazing lengths to which those people go. Only JR here in Orange County Schools knows the full depth of that work, and I'd like for him to share a couple stories with you.
Thank you, Kevin. Good evening. Thank you for having me this evening. February is time to appreciate buses and bus drivers and things of that nature, which is something huge in the world today. Bus drivers are very under-recognized, so it's a good time to show our appreciation. So please help us next month. If you see a bus driver, please tell them thank you. Don't stop next month. Continue on throughout the year. But I do want to uplift my support staff, my technicians, anyone that works in this district that gets on those buses, which the world that we have evolved into now is a lot of us that are not technically bus drivers. But we have a huge dedicated staff that works very hard every day to make sure the students get to and from school and home safely. And like DOT says all the time during inclement weather, give our trucks room so they can make the road safe, give our buses room so we can keep these kids safe as well. But thank you for the opportunity. And again, if you see a bus driver, show them appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you for all you do. Okay. Mr. Richmond, do we have any, excuse me, we have to adopt the agenda. Let's do that first. Do I have a motion to adopt our agenda for this evening?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we have adopted the agenda. Now, Mr. Richmond, do we have public comments tonight?
Yes, ma'am. We have two speakers.
Okay.
We will now hear public comments. Speakers will be called in order in which they signed up. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. Yielding time to other speakers is not permitted. If a speaker has written materials they would like to share, please hand them to our board clerk, Franklin McCune, and he will distribute them to the board. The purpose of public comment is for the board to hear from members of the public, not to engage in back and forth discussions. Per our policy, board members will not respond to speakers during the public comment session. The board greatly values public feedback and welcomes all comments, regardless of viewpoint. However, please be reminded that children are often present at these meetings and that our public comment policy prohibits profanity, vulgarity, and personal abuse of any person. We ask that all comments be civil, respectful, and free of personal attacks. Any speaker who violates our public comment period or otherwise exceeds the bounds of order and decorum will be given a warning. Continued violations may result in the speaker being ruled out of order, at which point we will move on to the next speaker. Our first speaker tonight is Lynn Carswell.
Good evening, Chair Purcell, board members, Dr. Jones. I came this evening to speak with you about our shared concern for the immigrant students and their families. I am very grateful for the statement that you have put out showing your support and your determination to keep our students and families safe. I appreciate the work that is being done to equip our teachers and our staff to be able to handle the challenges that they may face ahead. Thank you for caring and for coming forth and making that statement.
Thank you.
And our final speaker for tonight is Spring Dawson McClure.
Thanks so much. I'm a parent of a middle schooler and a high schooler in Orange County Schools. I'm also a psychologist and a researcher, part of a team based in New York City, focused on young children's health and development and school success, and how all the important parents, teachers, staff, and community members in their lives can come together to keep kids safe so that they can thrive. I too am really grateful to hear the statement that you made tonight, and I want to still share my comments in hopes that they are useful to you as you continue to make your plans in such an uncertain time. I'm going to share some specific research findings from my colleague, Dr. Gabby Barajas-Gonzalez at NYU. In 2018, she wrote about how anti-immigrant social political climates can harm US-born children as well as immigrant children. The threat of familial separation and the chronic uncertainty about family safety can be experienced by many Latino children in immigrant households as psychological violence. Threat and uncertainty about family safety is linked to kids' ability to come to school, to focus, and to learn. Regardless of documentation status, children may experience chronic uncertainty as they navigate how much to disclose about themselves or their home life for fear of the potential ramifications for their family members. In data that we collected in pre-K programs in New York City during the first Trump administration, we found that the degree of threat that parents experienced for their family and their community was associated with young children's health and development, specifically higher levels of anxiety and worry, and lower levels of self-regulation, which we know are foundational to kids' ability to learn. And this was true for children of both immigrant and US-born parents. Threat was also associated with lower levels of parents' involvement in educational activities, like coming out to school and community events, going to the libraries, museums, etc. again, among both immigrant and US-born parents. Gabby speaks directly to this question of why this would be the case. She says, of course, a US-born parent might be related to an immigrant parent who is legally vulnerable. And in this climate, there's a conflation of immigrant with Latino, an association between anti-immigrant climate with anti-Latino climate, and violence and harassment toward the Latino community. Gabby also collected data from teachers and school staff during that time, and she found that experiencing threat directly and vicariously by witnessing the fear among students and families was associated with educators' own psychological distress, sleep problems, and lower ratings of their own efficacy in meeting children's needs. Educators were clear that multiple sources of support were necessary: communal coping, meaning having time and space to talk with each other, leadership that acknowledged this stress, and informational support. I'll send the rest of my remarks to you by email. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
That concludes public comment.
all right. Thank you, Mr. Richmond. And thank you to everyone speaking tonight. Okay, we need to approve our consent agenda, adopt our consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that is approved. Okay. Discussion action items. I think if I'm doing this right. Update on to our strategic plan, priority 2. I think Mr. Davis is our spokesperson for that. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chair Purcell, Vice Chair Richmond, other board members, Dr. Jones, and the community. We're here to provide you an update on the district's priority 2 update. Alongside myself, we have Ms. Rhonda Raff and Mr. Ryan Miller, who were integral part of this presentation. The purpose of this presentation is to update the board on the ongoing efforts within Priority 2, which traditionally have focused on school safety. While school safety remains a key priority, we're proposing some amendments to expand our goals, aligning them with broader operational efficiencies and excellence across all departments. This aligns with the district's strategic plan, which, as you see here, will sunset in 2026. So let's start by reviewing our current goals for Priority 2. First goal is to improve teacher satisfaction regarding school safety. This includes professional development, increased visibility on site, a district safety plan, and collaboration with emergency services providers. All of these key action details have been ongoing since the conception of these goals. The next goal focuses on increasing professional development for school leaders in safety through annual safety summits, legal updates, and bi-monthly operational safety meetings. And our final goal is aimed to increase student satisfaction with school safety using school roundtables, discussions, the Say Something anonymous reporting app, and ensuring student voices are heard. Here are some of the safety strategies that we've incorporated over the course of this strategic plan and are already underway implementing majority of these. As we track 3 key metrics for Priority 2, the first is staff feedback on safety, measured by the NC Teacher Working Conditions Survey, which is conducted every 2 years. As you see, we do not have any data for school year 2024-25 yet, excuse me, but we've seen significant improvement over the past few years. The second metric tracks professional development hours for school leaders, and we are on track to meet our goal for the past 2 years. And then the final metric measures student satisfaction with safety based on our fall panorama survey, The second survey will be administered this spring, and Dr. Lanier will provide an update later this year. And now we'll go over the recommended goal amendments. As you see on your screen, you have the current goals, and to your right, you have the recommended goals to continue out till 2026. Goal 1, by 2026, 100% of our OCS departments will establish performance metrics for all facilities to evaluate safety, modern technology, and efficiency. Goal 2, by 2026, 95% of our OCS students using district buses will experience safe, on-time arrivals to and from school. And Goal 3, by 2026, OCS will initiate 100% of our capital spending based on key building performance and utilization rates. Some of the strategies that align with some of our goals: in Goal 1, for 100% of OCS departments will establish performance metrics for all facilities to evaluate safety, modern technology, and efficiency. I won't read them all to you, however, I will highlight a couple. We will continue to have regularly update safety protocols and conduct trainings. We will maximize business efficiencies by streamlining internal processes and workflows to improve productivity and reduce operational costs by internal financial review of all our budgets. Under efficiency and customer service, we'll address staff concerns in a timely manner by how we respond to work orders and meet with staff to discuss best practices. Under Goal 2, some of our strategies will be to regularly review and adjust bus routes to minimize travel time, reduce delays, and ensure buses follow the most efficient paths. Ensure all buses are regularly inspected and maintained to reduce mechanical issues that could cause delays or safety concerns. And utilize advanced routing and scheduling software to improve the efficiency of bus dispatching and reduce delays caused by inefficient planning. And our final goal, by 2026, OCS will initiate 100% of our capital spending based on key building performance and utilization rates. These strategies include performing annual assessments of our building occupancy rates and usage patterns to identify underutilized spaces and make data-driven decisions for optimization. Adjust school boundaries as needed to balance enrollment across the district and ensure efficient use of our school buildings. And create and implement a strategic master plan to guide future facility needs, including building expansions, upgrades, and consolidations based on student population and trends. And so before we take any of your questions, again, the current strategic plan, while it was focused on safety, we bring these recommendations to kind of springboard us into the next implementation of a new strategic plan in 2027. We believe that these goals really highlight excellent efficiency, not just for safety, but all the other operations in school buildings. With that, we'll take any questions. We do have staff available for specific questions that I will not be able to answer. Thank you.
Ms. Doyle?
Thank you, Chair Purcell, and thank you, Mr. Davis. I really appreciate this presentation, and slide 7 really captures that a lot has happened to make our facilities safer, and I think teachers' sense of satisfaction in school safety going from 79 to 80% is pretty significant, because teachers have a pretty good gauge on safety. I do have some questions about the student satisfaction. So for example, in there with the original goals, there's some focus around roundtables. The Say Something app has been another tremendous, shift in students feeling like they can communicate concerns. So I know that's been huge. I'm curious, I'm not aware of roundtables around student safety. We had some board student roundtables a couple of years ago. I'm just curious, have those roundtables happened and I just either don't remember hearing about it or never heard about it? But is that something that has been implemented? And similarly, PD elevating student voice, like that's interesting. And I don't recall that. And as a teacher, I think that's pretty interesting, PD too. So I'm curious about some of the student-focused, how they're expressing their satisfaction or raising concerns. And then I'm also wondering, like, I'm aware that our panorama survey data isn't perfect because we had that, as we talked about at our last meeting, that drop off in participation because of the Parents' Bill of Rights that basically made it where you have to opt in rather than opt out. So I'm curious, like, how meaningful is this panorama survey data? I know you mentioned we're going to have another spring survey, but I'm also wondering, have we done some of those original goals in hearing from students?
So to my left, Dr. Lanier was talking about the students, but I do want to say we have done round tables with staff and administration as well as professional development. To my knowledge, I'm not sure of any concerted effort for roundtable with students. However, we will take that information, but I'll let Dr. Lanier speak specifically.
Thank you.
Good evening again. So, Ms. Doyle, you actually brought up a very good point in terms of the, and I don't necessarily want to say the validity of the panorama survey data, but to your point, in terms of the ups and downs and the trends, there were periods of time where it was an opt-in. Right. And of course, to what you pointed out, and of course, what I presented at the last board meeting as well, we, of course, course corrected so that way it ended up being an opt-out. It is going to be our goal moving forward when we do implement the panorama survey in the spring for all schools to receive at least 95% participation. They'll be coming up with those plans so that we will have more substantial data to be able to say, so when we're presenting these percentages to you, then we'll have more of a reflection of those students who are in those grade spans that are actually being surveyed. Also, in the presentation that was given to you all by me in the first board meeting of the year, we were talking about plans based upon some of the trends and some of the data that we were presenting to you as well. So those strategies that we're basically taking out of this priority 2, we're going to be implementing that into those plans that we're going to be presenting to schools. When we're going out to schools and presenting that data, that'll be one of those strategies that we're going to be recommending for them to be able to do. There will be members of our team within Equity and Student Achievement that will be spearheading some of those conversations. And so we'll be able to report some of that information and some of that data when I come before you all and talk about priority 4 later on in the year.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Alves?
Yeah, thank you for this. Yeah, I agree with Carrie about the progress in safety. That's really great to see it documented, and I really love the way you've restructured the goal to make it broader and more inclusive. So I just have a couple questions, and they're mostly related to problems that we've had over the years, and to give visibility to them, and maybe to give visibility to them. One is on indoor air quality, and I don't know, this has been a challenge for us to get regular reports on not only the assessments, but also on the actions to remediate. So I don't know where that should be in here, but maybe a mention on indoor air quality. There's also been a challenge with tracking work orders. Now, I love seeing that we'll have response times in 1 to 2 days. And I'm just curious how much work is, do you actually have, I don't believe we have a system that actually does that. So, is there a goal to put an infrastructure in place or for you to track that? And of course, on the capital improvement plan, it's the allocation and reporting of all capital, not just the bond, right? It's all the pay-go stuff. And as you know, the board's been talking about providing information to the public information about the progress of our capital projects. So it's not just, it's providing some kind of progress reporting to the public about that process. So that was on 1. On 2, just one thing on the buses, and honestly, they're doing great. Every morning I go, we're not Durham, so which is a great place to be. But our folks are really doing an amazing job, and parents are really happy, and I get that all the time. The single thing that they're asking for is when there's a bus delay, a substantial bus delay or breakdown, if they can get warning sooner. So the communication to parents. And then finally, back to buses on priority 3, on the boundaries, whenever we talk about boundaries and redistricting and all that stuff, we always leave out the buses. So I wondered if we could just mention the buses. And I don't know if there's a way in this priority to give visibility to the role of our stakeholders, and that's the school, the parents, the teachers, the staff, the community, but also the county and the county commissioners. So for us to have a real master plan, we'd need buy-in from all our critical stakeholders. But great job, thank you. Those are just minor comments.
Would you like me to
Sure.
respond, or to just
Sure.
take them as information? So to the first point, what we didn't show because of the details that we've gone through with staff is what we have key performance indicators. And so those strategies align with the key performance indicators that will go throughout this year in 2026. And you'll start to see that information on indoor air quality, how often we test, when we test, what are those outcomes. That goes with our work order system. We do have a system that does track our work orders, and we are working on key performance indicators of how long it takes from the time a work order has been put into our system until it's officially been closed out. This will help us as we look at our capital plan on how often we're going to certain schools to fix certain types of equipment. In terms of your buses, I wouldn't agree with you more. They do a great job on making sure our kids get safe. And one of the things that we're going to be doing with those key performance indicators are looking at technology, efficiency in routes. That talks about our boundaries. And as we go into our bond projects, I'm going to make an effort to make sure that all stakeholders, buses, child nutrition, our maintenance workers, because after the school is built, these are the people that are going to be responsible for getting our students to school and make sure we maintain the school. So I am a strong supporter of making sure you have buy-in from just not the design professionals, but people who have to be in the building on a day-to-day basis. But thank you for all those comments. I just wanted to highlight that we do have key performance indicators that will further enhance the strategies that we put forth.
Yeah, can I just a feedback, on the indoor air quality, the challenge has been, even when we get the assessments, we've gotten some good reports, we don't get feedback on the remediation actions that are done. So would that be part of the KPIs that you're proposing?
Yes, and we'll make sure Dr. Jones has that information, and we'll make sure we update the board when that time comes.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Anthony.
Thank you so much for everyone putting this together and giving us, some of the progress. One of the questions I had is, along with the progress and the safety of our students, the roundtables that was mentioned, how do we get more granular information from students when they don't feel safe? For example, a school day versus a school event, or social media. I'm reading a lot about students now being more concerned with online bullying and their safety that way, because it's not just, hey, am I feeling safe? It's how they mentally feel safe. So I'm curious if y'all are thinking about how we understand that, or at least get feedback on that to understand where these challenges are.
I am going to pivot and let Dr. Bonilla answer that. But if it's an operational key, I can come back. But
So, hi again. So we're looking at, and I don't want to just give a broad, answer to saying we're looking at everything, but we also recognize that things are ever changing. You mentioned, say, for example, social media and, and online bullying and cyberbullying. And I was just actually reading something earlier this morning, and even also listening to something on my drive in around just algorithms and the fact that the creators of these apps and this content don't even allow their own children to have, devices, and don't even allow their children to get on these devices and on these apps, because they recognize exactly what it is that they do. What I will say is that, our school professional counselors do a fantastic job of trying to, intercept, anything that, that may be happening with our students. We're certainly, Dr. Dreyer does a really good job, of course, of keeping, keeping tabs on, any happenings that may be, that may be going on within buildings. I will say that we are also in the process right now, again, something that's been mentioned previously, of trying to also see how many students that we are reaching with all the wraparound services and stuff that we have in, in our system that we're currently using, to be able to, service our students with any of those needs that they may have in that regard. So I don't know if that really answered your question, but.
No, I appreciate that. Really what I was trying to get to is we look at the surveys and the roundtables asking a little bit further, if you're not feeling safe or there are concerns you have, what areas are they? Because even online bullying can be texting, right? Not even, on a application, if you will. So that's really what I was getting at, is if we're looking at that and thinking about how we, get some of that feedback from the students versus how do we address it when it's happening. And I'm glad to hear the wraparound services and, keeping up with it. But like you said, I'm reading and seeing more about how it's evolving, and even with some AI bullying, as you will, just making sure we're thinking of those other areas as we try to get the data and understand how our schools are changing.
Absolutely, and we will definitely make sure that, that we're doing our due diligence as well as we will be taking some of those responses, and again, taking that student voice as we go in further to, create our strategies and everything around Priority 4. So, yes.
Excellent, thank you.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Will made some comments that I wanted to echo because I had thought about them in similar ways. Like, because safety incorporates a lot of things, and I was thinking how you're capturing the different components of it, because I was thinking, at Orange High School, we're replacing band risers. Students are going to feel safer hauling band equipment, or, we've replaced bathrooms that were really in pretty bad shape. So, there's like physical things that enhance a sense of safety, or like lighting in dark hallways, or, our parking lots are more safe. There's a lot we've done that have made things more physically safe. So with this excellence and efficiency, are we intending to touch on, is the empowering culture goal more where we're talking about well-being and bullying and, feeling emotionally safe? Or are we intending to also be talking about some of those more intangible senses of safety in this? Because I was wondering that too, with what are we going for here with the student voice and safety? Are we talking mainly about physical safety? Or are we talking broadly?
I think it's both. In operations, we want to make sure that our environments that our students are in are physically safe, and there are some physical attributes like lighting and just openness that provide students as well as adults a sense of safety. And so as we continue to look at our building portfolio, our staff are going to trainings such as CEPTED, which is crime prevention through design. As we look at additions to our buildings, as well as we look at our capital improvement plan, some of those information that we're getting from students and staff will go into the design of future buildings and renovations. So from an operational lens, yes. And I'm sure from
I was going to say, from our lens, we're looking at it from a social emotional standpoint, and particularly the connection between students feeling safe walking the halls and students feeling safe, like I said, from a social emotional standpoint, and how that's going to ultimately correlate into us making sure that we're graduating students with options. So that's why I'm saying, in terms of a lot of the questions around the student voice and the surveys or whatnot, that's the reason why we're going to be addressing those things when we're also talking about, the implementation of policy consistently and fairly and equitably, and putting in equitable supportive measures, for our students. So from the equity and student achievement lens, we're looking at that more from, again, like I said, physical safety. Do you feel safe walking these halls? Do you feel as though you have an ally in the building that you can actually point to? That also, encompasses that safety piece for you, again, in that building, and how that ultimately relates to you being able to do your day-to-day, schooling, instruction, et cetera. So that's why we're looking at that.
Thank you.
And if I can just add, so for this specific priority, we are shifting a little bit, right? We want to talk a little bit more about excellence and efficiency operationally, and the safety that where safety plays a role there. And then when Dr. Lanier brings his update, priority 4, thank you, Then we can get a little bit more granular when it comes to students, social emotional learning, and what we're seeing there. So that's the main focus there. And so we are separating it out a little bit, like staff and student perception data. We're going to continue looking at that, and that will continue to be a part of the operations department as well as we present those, that information to you. But separating it out, this we can look at operational efficiency, and priority 4, we can look at student safety and social emotional learning. So yeah, it is a distinction there to separate it out.
I'd just like to add, thank you for doing this, but you're touching on something that's very near and dear to me, and that is student voice. Because as a former principal, I used to have student roundtable groups, get them together at lunch, feed them, and you get all kinds of information that you just didn't even know you were going to get. And I think that talking to students about the safety in the schools is paramount. I mean, I really think that if you can get some students together, elementary, middle, and high school, you're going to get a wide variety of things that are said, and they're going to tell you the truth, and you're going to hear it. And when you started talking about student roundtables and such, I thought about that and the importance of listening to the people that walk those halls every day and are in those bathrooms every day and playgrounds every day. And the social emotional ties into all of that. So thank you for what you've done and for what you're doing. I appreciate it. Anything else for these guys? Okay. Thank you very much, unless
So-
y'all have something else.
Yep, we are asking for approval
Oh,
of the
that's
new
right.
goals. And just keep it in mind, like the areas that you mentioned with student voice and student roundtables, we're going to carry that over into priority 4. And with all things, I know Dr. Lanier mentioned I'm approaching 1 year, but we're still doing an analysis of where we are in every area so that we can make the appropriate adjustments moving forward. So yes, we are asking that you approve these recommended goal amendments. They are on slide 10, and that is for action for you tonight.
Motion to approve?
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It is approved, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Okay, up next, we have Career and Technical Education Month Proclamation for February with Shannon Braxton. And
Good
Dr. Pack.
evening. First of all, thank y'all for letting us come the last week of January so that hopefully if you proclaim February as Orange County Schools Career Technical Education Month, we have the full month to celebrate. So thank you. So tonight, I am privileged to come before you and share that the Association of Career and Technical Education, which is a national organization that focuses on all things career and technical ed, that they have already designated February as Career and Technical Education Month. And it is our hope tonight that you, the Orange County Schools Board of Education, will proclaim that it's CTE month in Orange County schools by adopting the proclamation tonight. Many of you have heard presentations about career and technical education and all the wonderful things that those courses give students an opportunity to learn and do and participate in. I just would like to highlight tonight that when students take career technical education courses, they have the opportunity to apply skills and prior knowledge and learn that will prepare them to enroll, enlist, and be employed. And many of our career technical education courses in Orange County schools provide students with industry-recognized credentials that are setting them up to take entry-level jobs when they graduate from high school. So tonight, I invite you to see the proclamation that's at your workstation and ask you to read that tonight. And then adopt it, yes.
Would you like for us to read it out loud?
Yes, please.
Okay. Ms. Padilla, could we start with you? Let's see.
Where areas February 1st to February 27, 2025 has been designated Career and Technical Education Month by the Association of Career and Technical Education. And
Whereas career and technical education offers students the opportunity to gain the academic, technical, and employability skills necessary for true career readiness, and
Whereas students in career and technical education programs participate in authentic, meaningful experiences that improve the quality of their education and increase their engagement and achievement, and
Whereas career and technical education provides students with career exploration opportunities earlier in their educational experience, which enables them to make informed and beneficial decisions about their academic coursework and pursue established programs of study and career pathways, and
Whereas leaders from business and industries nationwide report increases challenges related to addressing the skills gap and connecting qualified professionals with available careers in critical and growing CTE-related fields, including healthcare, energy, skilled trades, advanced manufacturing, cybersecurity, and information technology, and
Whereas career and technical education prepares students for these and other fulfilling careers by offering integrated programs of study that links secondary and post-secondary education and lead to the attainment of industry-recognized credentials, and
whereas career and technical education program ensure that employers have access to a qualified and thriving workforce, ensuring America is a strong and competitive economy.
therefore, be it resolved that the Orange County Schools Board of Education does hereby proclaim February 1st through 28th, 2025 as Career and Technical Education Month, and urge all students and families to become familiar with the services and benefits offered by the career and technical education programs in Orange County schools, and to support and participate in these programs to enhance their individual skills and productivity.
very good.
motion to approve.
Okay, second. Do I have a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We do. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do just want to say I would love to see more CTE in middle school. Yeah, you know I was going to
So would
say that.
I.
I know you would too, but I just think it's a good opportunity to mention it as part of this. So thank y'all.
Thank you.
Can I add one comment too? I know you have many events, but the recent one at Cedar Ridge, got to talk to a bunch of students there. They were so excited to advocate for their courses and tell me what was, new at Cedar Ridge that had been at Orange and what they could do to build up, including some middle school, I believe. And so it was exciting to see their enthusiasm and their kind of command of what everything was offering for them.
So we had representation from all 7 program areas at that event, the Family Academy event that night, including middle school teachers were there as well. So thank you.
Thank you all. Okay, that ends our meeting for tonight unless we have something else that I don't know about. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you very much, and thank you to all those who came to visit with us.